find any resolution in what you've done in writing the book in terms of the atrocities you feel about the Roman Catholic Church, and even so many years later, whether you think there would be any necessity for pardon, apology, and what sort of outcome you look for in that?
That's a great question, because that's a big part of it. Culturally, I'm a Catholic, raised in Holy Catholic Ireland. I was also educated by the Dominicans. I've got a Norman name, so I'm ticking a few boxes there. To me, it is absolutely vital the Pope gives an apology, because I believe an apology flows through time and space. I believe that as Catholics we've been raised with one eye over our shoulder, and because the Inquisition went on for 600 years, it was only cancelled. It only ended in the 19th century. So all through those centuries, it's always been on alert. You know, do you fit in? And if you don't fit in, what awful things are going to happen to you? So with regard to the apology, because I have been asked this one, just background to that, in 2015, I wrote to the Pope and I asked the Pope to apologise, because the Pope, the Roman Catholic Church claim a long memory. They do it deliberately. They will in public say we have a long memory. So on the basis of their long memory, I asked them to apologise for what they did to the Cathars in the 13th century. They have never apologised for the Albigensian Crusade. They've apologised for the other crusades, but not the Albigensian Crusade. So I wrote in 2015, and I've included that letter here at the back of the book. I wrote again in 2016 with the petition signed by many people here. I had 160 names of people I had asked directly to sign it. I got a response from Montsegur Borgia, who is the fourth most, truly, he's the fourth most senior bureaucrat in the Vatican, and he said, we never got your first letter, but we got your second letter. So that gave me an excuse to write back. And with my second letter, I said that I had been sponsored to my 13-year-old niece in her confirmation, which is, you know, it's a confirmation you do at that age, and you have an adult sponsor, whatever they do. So I had brought my 13-year-old niece up Montsegur, and she was appalled by the story. So I asked for an apology on behalf of the Catholics that this was done in our name. And I also asked, for the people who climb Montsegur and feel very passionately that something terrible happened here. So it's time for the Church to, even though there are no Cathars left because of the way the Consolamentum works, it is time for the Church to apologise. So I got no response. I sent back all of my letters, got no response. So that's why it's included here. The letter is included here. And the apology I would like is, one, on behalf of Catholics for this having been done in their name, and an apology to say this was the wrong thing to do. We did the wrong thing in the 13th century with regard to the Cathars, specifically with regard to the Cathars. Pope Francis has apologised to the Albigensians, but I want to hear the Pope apologise. Now, in October 2016, the local lovely Bishop of Pamiers did a lovely, lovely ceremony at Montsegur of apology. But I want the Pope, because it's the Pope through all time. I want the person who is wearing the Pope's, who's in the Pope's position right now, to apologise. And I believe that will flow right the way through. It'll just have a huge impact, and it'll kind of take that pressure off our backs of having to look out, are we heretics? Are we still heretics? Like, where's the line? Because they changed the rules of what was heresy all the time. And I know I lived in Australia for a long time, and I remember the apology by Kevin Rudd, the Prime Minister, to the Aboriginals. And even though I wasn't a natural born Australian, I really felt, I'd spent a lot of time in the Outlook, and I felt that apology. And then when Queen Elizabeth came to Ireland in May 2013, I think, she gave an apology for the behaviour of the British to the Irish. And the whole nation felt that. Yeah. It was just like something lifted, something lifts. So I'm still going to push the Pope, and I'd love Pope Francis to do it, because I think he's a lovely Pope. So it's just the rich complexity of being an Irish Catholic. You can balance all of these things, Jesuiticals, whatever, in the middle of it.